So yesterday, Alexander Usyk responded to Tyson Fury's video where Fury said that there will be no rematch clause in the contract. And Usyk said that it was Fury's team who requested the rematch clause in the first place. So for him to turn around and say, oh, you want a rematch? What's wrong with you? Let's just have it as a one fight deal. No rematch clauses. That's ridiculous. Your team is the one who put it out there in the first place. And Alex Krassyuk, who is the promoter of Alexander Usyk, he confirmed that in this TalkSport interview. He said that it was Team Fury that put that out there in the first place, and they agreed to it. And he was pushed, he was pressed by the TalkSport team with regards to whether he would concede that rematch clause. And Alex Krassyuk kept deferring it to Usyk, saying ultimately it's Usyk's decision, so on and so forth. My take on it is this. As I said in a previous video, normally I don't like rematch clauses. If it's a voluntary defense of a title, I get it. But when it comes to mandatories, definitely not. And preferably when it comes to unifications, preferably no rematch clause. But in this particular instance, Usyk has conceded so many points to the extent that Fury just keeps on adding more and more and more roadblocks for this fight to get made. So if it's one thing that Usyk wants after all the things he's already conceded, I don't think that that is unreasonable. And I think Fury is the one being unreasonable. Now, some people are saying it's just hype talk from Fury and there will be a rematch clause. I hope that's the case. But Fury keeps coming out with stuff publicly and what he's saying, which makes it look as though he's trying to either get out of the fight, delay the fight. Maybe he's just trying to upset Alexander Usyk. We will find out in due course. But Alex Krassyuk, the promoter of Alexander Usyk, yesterday on TalkSport said he's not confident that this fight is going to happen. He thinks that no matter what they agree to, Tyson Fury will find another thing to put in the way of the fight. Another excuse that the fight can't go ahead unless they agree to this and agree to that. Now, that is in stark contrast to Frank Warren, who's saying the exact opposite. He's saying the fight will happen. He's 100% confident. Tyson Fury's always been a fighting man. He's not afraid of anybody, so on and so forth. Well, what's going on here? Why can Frank Warren be so confident when Krassyuk isn't confident? Well, Krassyuk said that in response to Warren being so confident, he said, well, perhaps Frank Warren knows something that I don't know, that Team Usyk don't know. Maybe because he's used to dealing with Tyson Fury, he knows what he's like. And so he knows not to take some of the things that Fury says in these videos seriously. Or it could be a situation, and again, I'm paraphrasing Krassyuk here, it could be a situation where, as the promoter of the fighter, you are paid to work in their best interests. And that includes when it comes to PR, to try and make them look good in every situation. Now, if that is the case here, and Frank Warren's just trying to make Tyson Fury look good, then he would make out as though Fury really wants the fight. He would make out as though he's really confident that the fight is going to happen. Because then if Team Usyk step away because they're not happy with something in the contract, then they've got that plausible deniability. Well, we thought it was going to happen. We were all systems go. But then Team Usyk did this strange thing and they walked away from the table. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think that's what Krassyuk was alluding to in this interview. So we'll find out in due course. Krassyuk said that really by the end of this week, and how many times have we heard by the end of this week when it comes to this fight between Usyk and Fury? I mean, I've lost count of the amount of times Frank Warren has said that. But Krassyuk said by the end of this week, should I say the end of the fight? By the end of this week, there has to be a decision, or Usyk presumably is going to move on, defend against one of his mandatories, or maybe not. Maybe he gives up the belts, retires, who knows? And with regards to Frank Warren, he says that they're just sorting certain things out in the contracts and they'll be resolved within the next few days and we'll get the proper announcement and all of the formalities with the posters and the press conference schedule and all that kind of thing. So all we can do is sit here and wait, speculate, I guess, on what's going to happen. But with regards to what all this stuff is about, with Tyson Fury longing out the process and this and that, some people are saying that this is all just theater, that the antagonism, the beef, the public slanging match between the two camps is just to promote the fight. Well, I personally don't buy that. And here's the reason. And look, the slanging match between the two camps can help promote the fight. Of course it can, right? But I don't think that's the primary reason that we've had all this stuff going on and why the negotiations have been so prolonged. I always go back to early last year when Alexander Usyk wanted the undisputed unification with Tyson Fury. Then Usyk was obligated to have the immediate rematch of Anthony Joshua. But they were discussions with Team Fury and they were talking about paying AJ step-aside money. And AJ was apparently happy to do that. And during the discussions, which were going on for some weeks, Tyson Fury then all of a sudden said, oh no, I want a tune-up fight before facing Usyk. So do you really think that back then, okay, early last year, Fury was just talking about tune-ups because he wanted to build up the Usyk fight? And no, there's something else going on there with Tyson Fury. It's not just about him trying to build up a undisputed unification. No, there's something else going on with him. So Usyk tried to make the fight then. Fury put a roadblock in the way, said he wanted this tune-up fight. And then after Usyk beats Anthony Joshua for a second time, they start preliminary discussions again with Tyson Fury for the undisputed fight. And there are some people out there saying negotiations this time around have only been going on for 2 or 3 months. What brand of crack are you smoking? Alex Krassyuk said in this interview here on TalkSport that he has been in discussion since last summer with Team Fury, meaning right after the AJ fight in late August, which is what I've been saying the whole time. There are loads of articles online you can find that actually reference the fact that they were in discussions from after the second Usyk-Joshua fight. So we're talking now about over 6 months of discussions, negotiations between Team Usyk and Team Fury. 6 months. How on earth has it taken that long to try and put this fight together? And you look at the timeline of events, it's Tyson Fury who's always not happy every step of the way. It's Tyson Fury who's longing everything out. It's not Usyk. Was it Usyk who came out and said, oh, I've got an injury that's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to heal? That was Fury that said that after the Chisora fight, giving himself this prognosis. How would you know that it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to heal and you need surgery and all this stuff unless you went into the fight with that injury and a doctor told you beforehand? In which case, why go through the Chisora fight? It's meaningless. So that was all Tyson Fury's doing, right? Him coming out saying something like that. Obviously, prior to that, he said, I need $500 million to fight Alexander Usyk. And on it goes. Usyk's happy to fight in Saudi Arabia, neutral territory. They both get an upfront amount. You don't have to argue over splits when the fight's in Saudi, right? Upfront amount. But, oh no, Tyson Fury's not happy. Now, Frank Warren has come out with some, I'm going to call it a cover story, that the Saudis needed to get this stadium sorted out and this and that. The Saudis have got a number of stadiums. The Saudis have got a number of venues that could put the fight on. So how is it that Usyk agreed to what the Saudis offered him, but somehow this stadium issue is a problem for Tyson Fury? Like, it's a load of rubbish, man. Honestly, that's a load of rubbish. There was an original cutoff point, which was, I believe, imposed by Team Usyk for the fight to happen, which was originally March 4th, right? That's long past, right? But that cutoff point was what they were working towards originally, and Usyk agreed with what the Saudis offered him. But Tyson Fury, no, it's not. There's a problem. Tyson Fury couldn't agree. So Usyk said, okay, cool. We'll go to the UK. I'll fight in your backyard, whatever. Every step along the way, it's been Tyson Fury delaying the process. How can you tell me that that's wrong? That's the truth. That's what's been happening. The question is why? Why is Tyson Fury doing this? Does he really not fancy the fight? And I always go back to, Frank Warren was coming out with, how could anyone doubt Tyson Fury? He's the bravest guy in the world. He went to Germany to fight Klitschko. Well, first of all, everyone went to Germany to fight Klitschko, Frank Warren. It's not like you had a choice. When Klitschko was champion, that's where he based himself, in Germany. So if you wanted a title shot, you went to Germany to fight Klitschko. Just like Mormek did, just like David Haye did, just like Kubrat Pulev did. Just like Marius Wack and Tony Thompson did, just like so many other fighters did, they all went to Germany to fight Klitschko. There was a couple of exceptions with Povetkin, Bryant Jennings, a few others. But the vast majority of people who fought Klitschko fought him in Germany. Let's stop making out as though that's something unprecedented for Tyson Fury to do. Yeah, it's great he went over there and got the win. But everybody fought Klitschko in Germany. And as far as fighting Deontay Wilder in the United States, Tyson Fury could have fought Anthony Joshua in the UK for a lot more money than he got fighting Deontay Wilder in the United States. And his dad wanted him to fight AJ in the UK for a lot more money rather than fighting Wilder in the States. Why do you think that is? Why did Fury choose to take less money and go to the States to fight Wilder, right, with a Frank Warren deal, instead of make more money and fight Anthony Joshua in the UK and do an Eddie Herndon? Why did he choose to go that route? One can only imagine that it's because he thought it was an easier route, that it would put him in a better position, that it was less money in the short term, but a wiser move in the long term from a business perspective. That's the way I interpret what Tyson Fury did at the time. So look, Fury has been a fantastic fighter, put in some great performances, and he is a brave man. I've always said Tyson Fury's no coward. He's a brave, brave man. We've seen that in the ring many times. But he's also a pragmatist. He's also a very clever man. There's also more than a little bit of Floyd Mayweather about him in terms of the way he maneuvers in a business sense, in terms of the way he manipulates public perception. There are people out here saying I'm being too harsh on Tyson Fury. I'm being biased against Tyson Fury with regards to this Usyk situation. And I'll tell you this, Tyson Fury is taking advantage of people like you, apologists, whereby Fury can get away with whatever he wants to do, all the gaslighting and all the messing around, because guys like you enable him. It's people like me, people who are going to try and, my little corner of the internet, put pressure on Tyson Fury and say, you know what, he isn't the number one heavyweight until he's beaten Usyk. It's people like me that are actually going to help this fight happen. It's people like you that are not going to enable this fight to happen, or at least assist the fight in happening. Because if Fury believes, or if Fury has the perception that the world thinks he's the best anyway, and he doesn't need to beat Usyk to prove it, then there's less incentive for him to actually take the fight. So to ensure this fight happens, maximum pressure must be put on Tyson Fury. People must be questioning him with regards to why he's throwing all these roadblocks in the way of the fight and doing all this kind of stuff. Yeah? I want the fight to happen. What is my agenda? My agenda is I want an undisputed champion as soon as possible. It's overdue. That's what my agenda is. What's your agenda? Is your agenda to protect Tyson Fury and be a fanboy? I'm no Usyk fanboy or any fanboy. I want to see the undisputed fight. And all I can see is one fighter in Tyson Fury putting all these roadblocks in the way of the undisputed fight actually happening with Usyk. And Usyk said something actually in his video, and Krassyuk said the same thing. He said, with Usyk, it's not even about Tyson Fury. It's about the WBC belt. That's what Usyk wants. He wants to be undisputed in 2 weight divisions. Now, for me, yes, it is about undisputed. But of course, it would be a disappointment if, let's say, Tyson Fury got stripped or gave up the belt, and then Usyk fought Andy Ruiz or someone else for it, right? Because Tyson Fury has achieved a certain amount. He has a certain amount of ability. He has a certain status within the division. And I would want to see, and of course he's unbeaten still, I would want to see Tyson Fury and Usyk fight each other, even if it's not for undisputed. Obviously, undisputed is the priority, but I do want to see Usyk Fury. I think that's a great matchup. So, and Tyson Fury is WBC World Heavyweight Champion. The WBC, in many ways, are a reprehensible organization, but I give credit where it's due. As I always say on my channel, no fighter is below praise and no fighter is above criticism. The same goes for promoters. The same goes for broadcasters, advisors, and in this case, the same goes for sanctioning bodies, because although the WBC have done all sorts of questionable stuff over the years, they've also implemented some good things. Now, a few years ago, probably many years ago now, all right? Time flies, especially at my age. the WBC started making champions of other organizations mandatory for their belts. They only did it for a couple years, but during that time, I think they made Sergey Kovalev mandatory for Adonis Stevenson. They might have made Gennady Golovkin mandatory for Canelo. They were doing that, right? So for those of you who don't know, normally with the 4 major sanctioning bodies in boxing, they do not recognize, they do not rank the champions of the other sanctioning bodies. So normally the IBF will not rank whoever the champion of the WBO is in their top 15. They won't appear there at all. That's how it works. But the WBC changed that, at least for a short period of time. They started ranking the champions of other organizations in their rankings, usually in the number 1 spot, to try and encourage these consolidation fights, these unifications and undisputed fights. That's a very good thing they did. That would be great right here with Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, if the WBC were to do that. Because they would give Tyson Fury a kick up the backside with regards to getting this fight done. And in that scenario, I forget how the WBC set the situation up with regards to the split, but presumably it would have been 50-50. Again, that would have taken care of all that. So Fury would have been told by the WBC, okay, Usyk, he's the champion in the IBF, WBO, and WBA. We've made him mandatory for your WBC belt. You have to fight him by this date. It's a 50-50 split. If the fight don't go ahead, then you lose the WBC belt and Usyk fights somebody else for it. That would be ideal right now to get rid of all the nonsense that's going on. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I just want to see an undisputed champion, man. Why do we have to get messed around for so long? We know that Usyk is a guy who doesn't mess around. Look at his history. Look at his track record. Fighting champion after champion after champion after champion, unification after unification. You look at Tyson Fury. When he when he had that draw with Deontay Wilder in the first fight, what did he do? He declared himself to be lineal, and then he started fighting a bunch of previously never heard of fighters. He didn't go straight in and start fighting all the top guys. He did this little detour, George Foreman style, like after Foreman won the world title for the second time in the 1990s, right? He started fighting all these miscellaneous opponents, trying to milk this whole lineal thing. Obviously, Foreman won actual belts, but eventually got stripped and it became a lineal, right? And he had some bogus WBF belt or something as well. So, yeah, Tyson Fury started doing all that carry on, probably advised by Bob Arum, who used to promote George Foreman, to do something similar, right? So you compare that to what Usyk has done. Whenever Usyk is a champion, he's like, okay, who's got the other belts? Can we fight now? I don't want to be messing around with little, sidestep fights, or not even sidestep, detour fights. Let me use that word. Little detour fights and fights where I could just have a trilogy with someone I fought many years ago, like Tyson Fury did with Derek Chisora. No, I don't want to do all that. I want to go from top guy to top guy to top guy to top. That is Usyk's track record. Why are we pretending that this is not the case? Fury fans, this is the case. Okay? That's how Usyk has always behaved. That's not how Tyson Fury's always behaved, is it? I mean, he just did a pay-per-view trilogy with Derek Chisora. Can you see Usyk doing something like that? He's never done anything like that in the past with regards to when he's been a champion. Yeah, he moves up to heavyweight. He has 2 fights and then goes straight for a title shot against a guy who's way bigger than him. And personally, I thought he needed a few more fights before stepping up there at championship level, because I'm comparing it to what Holyfield did. When Holyfield stepped up to heavyweight, he must have had, 5-6 fights before he challenged for the title. Usyk stepped up 2 fights, said, no, I'm ready. I mean, this guy is on it like a car bonnet. So, yeah, my take on it is, look, Usyk's not messing around. He clearly wants this fight more than Fury. Hopefully Fury has been pressured enough by the public, pressured enough by the media, incentivized enough by the 70-30 split, and so on, to actually stop messing around, stop trying to nitpick the contract, and sign on the dotted line. No more nonsense, please, Mr. Fury. Just get in the ring and fight. You can't do this forever, right? So, yeah, that's my take on the situation. Let's hope we get something official by the end of this week. If not, it's all on Tyson Fury as far as I'm concerned, because we've seen who has been making all the concessions consistently because they really want it. If there is one particular concession that he's not willing to make, what, we're going to blame it all on him rather than blaming it on Fury? You're having a laugh. So, yeah, it is what it is. And, you know, particularly with the rematch clause thing, right? Alexander Usyk is fighting away from home. He's taking a 30% split. He's fighting the guy in his backyard where, you know, the officials and the crowd and so on and so forth. Well, the crowd's certainly going to be on Fury's side, but the officials might be on Fury's side too. And you're going into a situation like that. You've given up all this stuff, and then you're saying, oh, there's not even going to be a rematch clause in the contract for you if it's controversial. And let's be real. Most of us think the most likely way that Usyk can win the fight is on points. So he's relying on fair officials, fair judges, right? So, again, a rematch clause in a contract in that situation, particularly when you've conceded everything else, that's not unreasonable. You know? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.